Mutar l'ochlam b'cholav. The Torah says clearly that you're allowed to have fish with milk. So the Beis Yosef, when he talks about this Torah, he says like this. He says, "Osur levashel b'cholav chutz mibosor v'dogim v'chagovim," that you're allowed to cook the fish with the milk. Kevan de levashlo shore mashma de leochlo b'cholav nami shore. Yisur b'cholav loshan bishul afke rachmana. So it says, since you're allowed to cook together milk with fish, so you'll be allowed to eat it too. Then he brings a bunch of poskim that bring this Rambam, Rashba, the leochlo b'cholav shore. Then he adds like this. Umikol mokim says, however, en leechol b'cholav mipnei sakona. Don't eat. He says the milk with the fish. Mitzad ikar adin, it's allowed to, but it's a sakona. Could have a health issues. Sakona. It says Nizbar b'Sefer Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Ayin Gimel. It says over there in Kuf Ayin Gimel Orach Chaim. It says over there. He says that those two could be sakona.
So what? The sakana occurred since the time of the Rambam?
1 second. So then the B'darche Moshe, he quotes this Beis Yosef. And then he says, I never saw anybody careful not to eat, he says, fish with the milk, or anything milky, fish with the milk, or anything milky with the fish. He says, the Gamba Rechaim Siman Kuf Ayin Gimel, and what the address that the Beis Yosef gives you, go look at Rechaim Kuf Ayin Gimel, he says, Elo, Shaloi l'ochloi lebosor. It says over there, it talks about in Kuf Ayin Gimel, don't eat fish with the meat. So you're sending me, don't eat a fish with milk, because it says in Kuf Ayin Gimel. Over there, it talks about a meat with the fish, he says, and then he concludes, he says, V'lochen nire, he says, that's a Dar Chamosha, the Ramo says, V'lochen nire, shenis'arev l'rav Beis Yosef, Bosor b'cholam. He says he probably made a mistake here. He says he got confused between milk, it says, and meat. Instead of saying you're not allowed to eat it with the meat, that we don't eat fish with meat, mitzad sakana, not mitzad ikar adin. So he says instead he wrote fish with milk. But it says according to the Ramah, it does not exist such a thing. It's probably a mistake that he got, according to the Ramah Mashma, whether he got confused, whether he wrote by mistake. So that's what the Ramah, the Dar Chamosha writes. So, we'll look in the Shulchan Aruch. So the Taz brings on the Shulchan Aruch, where it talks about over here. Aval dogim v'chagovim en boem isur afilu midrabanon. Meaning it talks about over there isur basar b'cholav, it says, but to cook the fish with the milk, it does not even isur drabanon. That's the Taz brings on it. He brings that in Beis Yosef. When it says Beis Yosef kosav mekamokim en lechol dogim b'cholav na sakona v'hu tol sofer. So it could be they're saying the same thing as the Ramah, or the Ramah blamed the Beis Yosef. He had a confusion, and the Taz it was print mistake. He never meant that even. Well, either way, both saying according to the Ramah and the Taz, there's a mistake of that. Whether a print mistake, whether the way he understood it, the mistake. That's what they say. Okay, he says tzarich lo yomar im basar, meaning according to the Taz, for sure the Beis Yosef knew it, and he didn't. It was when he wrote, he wanted to say basar v'dogim. He wrote dogim v'cholav. That's a print mistake. Then he brings like this. Levush, etik moshe Beis Yosef enonochen. Levush was Talmud of the Ramah. When Levush writes this halacha, he's exactly copying the Beis Yosef that you're not allowed to have milk with fish exactly like the Beis Yosef, and the Taz says it's a mistake too. So according to the Taz, the Ramah didn't write about this Talmud. He never saw the Levush. It was his Talmud wrote the Sefer Levush. But the Taz write that the Beis Yosef, not the Beis Yosef made a mistake. There's a print mistake over there, and he says the Levush. He says he's wrong. The Levush says he's wrong. He's copying the Beis Yosef, but the whole thing is a mistake. So that's the conclusion of like I said, the Ramah, the Taz. Now comes the Shach also saying a similar things. He says like this. He brings the levush mipnei asakona kmo shena be'orechaim siman kufayin gebel. Ad kan lashon. Emes nimshach achar Bes Yosef. The levush goes after the Bes Yosef. Shekosek is aval hu toos. It's a mistake. Lo nizkar shom ela dogim im bosor osur. We're not allowed to eat dogim, fish with meat because mishum asakon. Aval becholav lo shamanu v'lo re'inu. We never heard of that. That meat. That fish with milk should be a problem. V'chol yoyim aviyam na'aginan hochi. We do that on a daily basis. Says levashal dogim b'cholov. People cook together fish and milk. V'le'echol. Okay. V'gam v'darcha Moshe hisig Bes Yosef b'zeh v'chen b'sefer Be'er Sheva says like this. We have like this the darcha Moshe, which is the Ramah, the Taz, the Shach, and he brings the sefer Be'er Sheva. They all disagree with that psak. V'shar achronim, he has many others. They sigu olav b'zeh. Then he brings up Gam b'shas perek kitzat soilin in Maseches Psochim mashma behedya delays be'afilu mishum sakona ayen shavu poshut. Okay, so Emma says like this. We see it in Maseches Chulin. There's a Mishnah over there clearly saying there's no problem. It says clearly you're allowed to do it. So the Shach doesn't bring this Mishnah. The reason it doesn't bring this Mishnah because over there you could say the Mishnah talks about the Isur Shabbat, not the Sakona. There's no Isur mitzad dina deraisa to cook or eat fish with milk. That the Mishnah talks about the halacha. The Bes Yosef add mitzad the sakona. That's that. But he brings here kolabosor osur levashel b'cholov. You're not allowed to cook the meat with the milk. Chutz mi b'sar dogim v'chagovim. B'sar dogim v'chagovim, fish with milk. You're allowed to clear the Mishnah. It's a Mishnah. Elamai, you could say over there the Mishnah talking mitzad ikar hadin, but not mitzad sakona. But then the Shach brings a very strong rayat. Even mitzat sakona, there's no sakona over here.
Yeah, the Gemara says you can cook a fish in a fleshing
pan. That's what he
and
brings.
then you put milk on it. And you're like,
so that's what the Gemara. Psochim daf ayin vav amud beis says like this. Ahu binita. It says there was a fish. The itva bahada bisra. It was baked in the oven, in a separate dishes in the same oven. Those days the ovens were open. I'm mentioning this because it makes a lot of nafkamina. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it right now. That there was a fish in the meat that was baked on the same oven. It was separate dishes. Osra rava mifarzegayo lemechla bekutcha. Rava mifarzegayo. It's not the same rava, the abai rava. It's from a place in Bavel, Farzekayo. He said you're not allowed to eat this fish with the milk, because since it was cooked together at the same, was baked in the same oven with the meat, to something in with the meat in it. So mitzad already not mitzad dogim mitzad. You're not allowed because it's fish with milk. No, because in that's a fleshike fish already because it was baked in the same oven. And then he says like this. Ma barabashi Omer afilu b'milcha nami asura mishum dekashya lerechav ledavar acher. Ma barabashi says not only you're not allowed to eat this fish with the milk, you're not allowed to eat this fish on its own, even though just salting and eating it. Why? Since it was cooked together, the same oven. They didn't touch each other, but the same oven with the meat. It's sakona already. So from that, the Shach brings raya that you see the Gemara in Psochim talks about sakona over there. And it says, nevertheless, the Roman Farzekaya said, you're not allowed to eat it mitzad, because it says, and it's something fleshik already. You cannot mitzad the flesh shaboy with the milk, but on its own you would be allowed. And Rabashi says, no, it's sakona over there. So mashma, if it wasn't together with the meat, the sakona is the meat. It wasn't together with the meat, you would be allowed to eat. They talk about sakona, and they don't mention sakona that fish and and milk. They mentioned the sakona, the fish with meat, not with milk. So Lamaisa, like I said, all this paskin against the Bes Yosef, either they say it was a mistake, either they disagree with him. It's okay. Now it's not just a pashut because that it's brought under to this chidusha hagoyes that brings like this. Kol haposkim tomu al Rav Bes Yosef b'zeh. V'rotu l'shliich yad la'agia dvoro. He wanted to fix up. They said it was a print mistake. ובכנסת הגדולה מצאתי שכתוב וזה לשונה, ולעיקר הקושיה יראה שמה שהביא לרבונים הנזכרים לתפוס לרבנו המחבר בזה. Everybody was jumping on the Bes Yosef, and there's a mistake over here, he says. מפני שהם סוברים שמה שכתוב רבנו המחבר, כמו שכתוב ברחם סימן קוף עין גימל, שהכוונה למה ששום נסבר דין the le'echol cholavim dogim p'nei sakona v'leisa. Since he refers you, give you an address, go to Kuf Ayin Gimel Orachayim. Over there, don't say anything. Say he made a mistake. Says, no, what he refers you over there, he says not that it says over there you cannot eat fish with milk. No, he says same thing over there. It says you cannot eat fish with meat, not mitzat ikadim. It's a sakona. Same thing, fish with milk. It's also mitzat sakona. That's all what he's saying. He says. And he says, שיש סכנה באכילוסם על פי הרויפים שהם לא אוכלים יחד. There is some doctors hold, there is some that they're not allowed to do it. Okay, to make a long story short, there is they bring from Rabbeinu Bachi over here, the Pesach Tshuva, the Taki, according to some doctors, there was a sakona in this. So the different madregas. Some people eat, there's no restrictions like the Taz, the Shach, there are more between milk and fish. Any form of milk and fish, you could eat it. Some saying you cannot have milk with fish, but you could have cheese. It's a different effect with fish. Some saying, no, you cannot have even cheese, but you could have butter with fish. The Tzemach Tzedek also makel on this. He says, you're allowed to have a cheese or a butter with the fish. Only even the receipt of the Bes Yosef was just the milk, or Rabbeinu Bachi over there. Akaponim, there's all the shittas. So when it comes out, there's many Sfardim machmer not to eat any shape and form fish with milk, whether it's milk, whether it's cheese, whether it's butter. Some would not eat it just with milk, but would eat with the cheese, and some even with the cheese also would not eat it, but would eat it with the butter. So no matter what you do, you have who to rely on. And that's exactly what the Kaf HaChaim brings, that the eating of health, it could change from one place to another. It depends on the air, depends on the environment. So he says, and also it depends what the doctors physically know right now about this. If some saying it's bad for tsaras, for leprosy, memele, so everybody, whatever his minhag, it could continue, because no matter what you do, you have somebody to rely on.
Somebody's going to say some things.
Huh?
If it's not good for eggs, it's not good for Z.
Yes,
Not
yes.
good for Z, it's not
Okay,
good for Y.
all right. Could you shut it off? All right. Welcome to you.